Well, now's as good a time as any. Welcome in, everyone, and thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your evening. I hope that I am merely another positive effect on your hopefully great day. We'll be continuing my reading of Treasure Island. Last chapter was some scandalous things are happening, which lead us to chapter 11, entitled What I Heard in the Apple Barrel. Again, thank you guys so much for joining. I truly appreciate each and every one of you, and here we go. No, not I, said Silver. Flint was captain. I was quartermaster along of my timber leg. The same broadside I lost my leg, old Pew lost his deadlights. It was a master surgeon, him that amputated me, out of college and all, Latin by the bucket and what not, but he had hanged like a dog and sun-dried like the rest at Corso Castle. That was Robert's men, that was, and come to changing times to their ships, Royal Fortune and so on. Now what a ship was christened, so let her stay, I says. So it was with the Cassandra, as brought all of us safe home from Malabar, after England took the very viceroy of the Indies. So it was with the old Walrus, Flint's old ship, as I've seen a muck with the red blood and fit to sink with gold. Ah, cried another voice, that of the youngest hand on board, and evidently full of admiration. He was a flower of the flock, was Flint. Davis was a man too, by all accounts, said Silver. I never sailed along of him, first with England, then with Flint. That's my story, and now here of my own account, in a manner of speaking. I laid by 900 safe, from England and 2,000 after Flint. That man bad for a man before the mast, all safe in bank. Tain't earning now, it's safing, it does. You may lay to that. Where's all England's men now? I don't know. Where's Flint? Why, most of 'em's aboard here and glad to get the duff. Been begging before that, some of 'em. Old Pew as had lost his sight and might have thought shame, spends £1,200 in a year like a lord in Parliament. Where is he now? Well, he's dead now and under the hatches. But for 2 years before that, shiver me timbers, the man was starving. He begged and he stole and he cut throats and starved at that by the powers. Well, it ain't much use, after all, said the young seaman. Tain't much use for fools, you may lay to it, that or nothing, cried Silver. But now you look here, you're young, you are, but as smart as paint. I see that when I set my eyes on you, I'll talk to you like a man. You may imagine how I felt when I heard this abominable old rogue addressing another in the very same words of flattery as he had used to myself. I think, if I had been able, that I would have killed him through the barrel. Meantime he ran on, little supposing he was overheard. Here it is about gentlemen of fortune. They lives rough and they risk twinging, but they eat and drink like fighting cocks, and when a cruise is done, why, it's hundreds of pounds instead of hundreds of farthings in their pockets. Now, the most goes for rum and a good fling, and to sea again in their shirts. But that's not the course I lay. I puts it all away, some here, some there, and none too much anywheres, by reason of suspicion. I'm 50, mark you, once back from this course. I set up gentlemen in earnest. Time enough, too, says you. Ah, but I've lived easy in the meantime, never denied myself a nothing heart's desires, but slept soft and ate daintily in my days, but when at sea. And how did I begin? Before the mast, like you. Well, said the other, but all the other money's gone now, ain't it? You daren't show your face in Bristol after this. Why, where might you suppose it was? Asked Silver derivatively. At Bristol, in banks and places, answered his companion. It were, said the cook. It were when we weighed anchor, but my old miss has it all by now. And the spyglass is sold, lease and goodwill and rigging, and the old girl's off to meet me. I would tell you where, for I trust you, but it'd make jealousy among the mates. And can you trust your missus? Asked the other. Gentlemen of fortune, returned the cook, usually trust little among themselves, and right they are, you may lay to it. But I have a way with me, I have, when a mate brings a slip up on his cable, one as knows me, I mean, it won't be in the same world with old John. There was some that feared old Pew, and some of that was feared of Flint. But Flint his own self was feared of me, feared he was and proud. There was the roughest crew afloat, and Flint's the devil himself would have been feared to go to sea with them. Well now, I tell you, I'm not boasting, man, and you've seen yourself how easy I keep company. But when I was a quartermaster, lambs wasn't the word for Flint's old buccaneers. You may be sure of yourself in old John's ship. Well, I tell you now, replied the lad, I didn't have a quarter like the job till I had this talk with you, John. But there's my hand on it now. And a brave lad you were, and smart too, answered Silver, shaking hands so heartily till all the barrel shook, and a finer fingerhead of a gentleman of fortune I never clapped my eyes on. By this time I had begun to understand the meaning of their terms. By a gentleman of fortune, they plainly meant neither more nor less than a common pirate, and the little scene that I had overheard was the last act in the corruption of one of the honest hands, perhaps of the last one left aboard. But on this point I was soon to be relieved, for Silver giving a little whistle, a third man strolled up and sat down by the party. Dick Square, said Silver. Oh, I know Dick Square, returned the voice of Coxswain Israel Hands. He's no fool, is Dick. And he turned his quid and spat. But look here, he went on. Here's what I want to know. Barbecue. How long are we going to stand off and on like a blessed bumboat? I've had almost enough of Captain Smollett. He's hazed me long enough, by thunder. I want to go into that cabin. I do. I want their pickles and wines and that. Israel, said Silver, you head ain't much account nor ever was, but you able to hear, I reckon. Leastways your ears is big enough. Now here's what I say. You'll berth forward, and you'll live hard, and you'll speak soft, and you'll be sober until I give the word, and you may lay to that, my son. Well, I don't say no, do I? Growled the coxswain. What I say is win. That's what I say. Win? By the powers! Cried Silver. Well, now, if you want to know, I'll tell you when. The last moment I can manage, and that's when. Here's a first-rate seaman, Captain Smollett, sails the blessed ship for us. Here's the squire and doctor with the map and such. I don't know where it is, do I? No more do you, says you. Well, then, I mean this squire and doctor shall find the stuff and help us get it aboard, by the powers. Then we'll see. If I was sure of you all, sons of double Dutchmen, I'd have Captain Smollett navigate us halfway back again before I struck. Why we're all seamen aboard here, I should think, said the lad Dick. We're all forecastle hands, you mean, snapped Silver. We can steer a course, but who's to set one? That's what all you gentlemen split on, first and last. If I had my way, I'd have Captain Smollett work us back into the trades at least. Then we'd have no blessed miscalculations and a spoonful of water a day. But I know the sort you are. I'll finish 'em at the island, as soon as the blunt's on board, and a pity it is. But you'll never happy until you're drunk. Split me sides, I have a sick heart to sail with the likes of you. Easy all, Long John, cried Israel. Who's a crossing of you? Why, how many tall ships, think ye now, have I seen laid aboard, and how many brisk lads drying in the sun at Extinction Dock, cried Silver. And all this same hurry and hurry and hurry. You hear me? I seen a thing or two at sea, I have. If you would only lay your eyes, of course, and point to windward, you would ride in carriages, you would. But not you. I know you. You'll have a mouthful of rum tomorrow and go hang. Everybody knowed you was a kind of chaplain, John. But there's others that could hand a steer as well as you, said Israel. They liked a bit of fun, did they? They was so high and dry, nohow, but took their fling like jolly companions, every one. So, said Silver. Well, and where are they now? Pew was that sort, and he died a beggar man. Flint was, and he died of rum in Savannah. Aye, there was a sweet crew they was, only where are they? But, asked Dick, when we do lay him, I thought, what are we going to do with him anyhow? There's the man for me, cried the cook admirably. That's what I call business. Well, what would you think? Put him ashore like maroons? That would have been England's way. Or cut him down like that much pork? That would have been Flint's or Billy Bones. Billy was the man for that, said Israel. Dead men don't bite, says he. Well, he's dead himself. He knows the long and short of it now, and if a rough hand come to port, it was Billy. Right you are, said Silver, rough and ready. But mark you here. I'm an easy man. Quite the gentleman, says you, but this time it's serious. Duty is duty, mates. I give my vote. Death. When I'm in Parliament and riding in my coach, I don't want none of these sea lawyers in the cabinet coming home unlooked for, like the devil at prayers. Wait is what I say, but when the time comes, why, let her rip. John, cries the coxswain, you're a man. You'll say so, Israel, when you see, said Silver. Only one thing I claim. I claim Trelawney. I'll wring his calf's head off his body with these hands, Dick, he added, breaking off. You just jump up like a sweet lad and get me an apple to wet my pipe like. You may fancy the terror I was in. I should have leaped out and run for it when I found the strength, but my limbs and heart alike misgave me. I heard Dick begin to rise, and then someone seemingly stopped him, and the voice of Hans exclaimed, Oh, stow that. Don't get sucking on that Blige, John. Let's go have a go at the rum. Dick, said Silver, I trust you. I've a gauge on the keg, mind. There's a key. You fill a pankin and bring it up. Terrified as I was, I could not help thinking to myself that this must have been how Mr. Errol got the strong waters that destroyed him. Dick was gone but a little while, and during his absence Israel spoke straight on the cook's ear. It was but a word or two that I could catch, and yet I gathered some important news, for besides other scrapes that tended to the same purpose, this whole clause was audible. Not another man of them till June. Hence there were still faithful men aboard. When Dick returned, one after another of the trio took the pankin and drank, one to Luck, another with a here's to old Flynn, and Silver saying himself in some kind of song, here's to ourselves and hold your luff, plenty of prizes and plenty of duff. Just then a sort of brightness fell upon me in the barrel, and looking up, I found the moon had risen and was silvering the mizzen-top, and shining white on the luff of the foresail. And almost at the same time, the voice of the lookout shouted, Land ho! That is an interesting chapter. And that will lead us to the next chapter, Council of War, which is chapter 12. This story is now beginning to build, and I'm greatly enjoying reading it to you, as it is, again, my first time ever reading this book. And I really hope that I'm a part of your restful evening, and I leave you to rest easily. I hope that you're all having a wonderful night. And as always, just because the world's on fire doesn't mean you have to add to it. Good night, everyone.